Welcome in everyone to the next episode of Tap Tap Cast, a Pokemon Go mostly PvP podcast with the one and only Martine, Inadequance, caster, player, Pokemon Go extraordinaire.
Yes, sometimes we talk about Pokemon, sometimes we talk about anything. Yes, thank you, Amanda. My name again, Inadequance, and glad to be here with you again, Amanda. How was your week?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Been using the Spring Cup team that I came up with
Ah, yes, you.
to a pretty decent amount of success. But I switched it up now. I'm playing ABA Grass, so I'm leading Ferrothorn instead of Poliwrath because there was just so many counters like the Tentacruel and the Tropius in the
hmm
lead. So
Was it
just
was
mixing it up.
was it the algorithm?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you
But now I'm doing so well.
do you have your elo yet?
I do. Yeah, I had my elo. I think it was like 2280, and I'm not that much above it. I was at 2400 something today, right below veteran, but got knocked back down to like the upper 2300s.
Wow,
So, what about you?
I'm almost expert.
Of course you are.
No,
Of
actually, I
course you
actually don't
are.
have my elo yet.
You don't even have your elo. Oh
I'm
my
at,
goodness.
I'm at rank 18 now. I just
Mm,
recorded some battles for YouTube. I thought I just remembered I still have a channel there, so I
yeah.
just want to keep it up to date.
Are you one of those? I mean, obviously you don't need to be, but do you fall into the line of thinking that if you start a little bit later, that the battles are also a little bit easier? Because a lot of people who really try hard for PvP start immediately when the new season starts.
Yes and no. There's definitely a difference there when you start later. That, like, let's say you are near the very end of the season, right? You notice that around the 2800s might be easier than it was like a month ago. So I do think that the later you begin, the easier it somewhat gets. But it's in all good fun. Like I don't really care for that. Myself, I've never really had trouble getting to Legend. Only like in the very first few seasons, right when I was also new to it. But at this point, yeah, I just play whenever I feel like, right? So just
Yeah, yeah.
just keeping it light and doing my challenges in the local cups as well, right? I already have some new spice. I've already been trying to drive
Ooh.
Toe Tactical and Triptando crazy. Always giving them riddles. I'm hoping Toe will, he usually cannot sleep because of my riddles. He's like, oh man, what is he going to use? And hopefully,
Yeah, but he always plays it off to like, no, I don't really care. It's not like he just keeps telling to do this to
yeah,
me, but I don't care. But then he keeps guessing. Be like,
exactly.
is
He
it
keeps
this?
going. He keeps going. Yeah.
But how many more cups can you win before you're at the cap? Because you can only count six of them, right?
hmm
And you've won at least two that I've been at.
I won four.
Okay.
I have 25 points from fourth place at Liverpool, where I went 1-2
Hmm.
in the actual tournament. Then I played the cup. And in the Swiss, I beat Pateman, and then he beat me in the top cut. So I
Hmm.
got 25 points from there. And I got 40 points. That was actually the one you were at, right? In Boom. In Boom,
Yep,
yes, in
yep,
Belgium.
yep.
I won the challenge there, but I got second in the cup. So I have 40
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah, you got second.
I
Yeah.
can get 35 points from cups. I can get 60 points still from challenges. I barely have been performing in any challenges. Maybe that's because I'm
Yeah.
bringing Pokemon like Energy Ball, Galvantula.
Okay, yeah, but I think that's at the point where you've already won the cup, so you're playing a little bit more relaxed anyway. You don't care as much because when you did win the challenge, it was because you didn't win the cup, so you were still coming at it with a bit of a vengeance.
Well, it's more that I already have those teams prepared in advance. Actually, I have two teams. I have
Ah,
two
okay,
teams.
okay,
Yeah.
you bring
So
in two.
yeah, two spicy picks
Yeah.
as well. I mean, what I used to do in like my practice tournaments, just make crazy stuff work. I like to apply that now in the local cups. I think that's where I get
Yeah.
the most fun out now. And yeah, not everything is as good as Sunny Cast form, but
Speaking of Sunny Cast
yeah.
Form, did you complete the Cast Form challenge this week? Because I did
No,
not.
I
There was no
didn't.
Snowy Cast Form anywhere
Damn it.
nearby.
Right? There
So
was none. I
yeah.
actually went out, Amanda. I went out to play the game after work, and I found none
Oh,
of them. I was like,
yeah.
man, because I actually do all my collection challenges. I
Yeah,
think
I
this
do
is
too. It drives me nuts that I don't have this one finished.
right now. I
I
cannot
was
sleep
throwing up
either.
glacial lures and stuff too. I was like, oh, okay, I'll like maybe I'll bring in some
Oh,
snowy things over here.
I should have
Nope,
done that. Could that
no, it
work?
didn't. Nope, it didn't
Oh
help. I didn't see one.
man, unfortunate. Yeah,
So
yeah. Had to play a little bit more.
yeah, I guess we still have to play the catching portion of the game.
Yeah. All right, Amanda. Thank you. That was our week. Now we have a special guest on for today. As actually, all our guests are special, right? All our guests are very special.
Hmm.
But today we have one that I kind of fear for the World Championships. He's a scary player, and I think he likes to do loser bracket runs for fun. Like just lose the first round in the winners, and then so you have more opponents to defeat. Do you know what I'm
He's
talking
definitely
about?
taking. I think it's a guy who's taken a little bit of a hard road, but a champion, and also someone who's been named quite often as a champion. If I'm correct in my guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, let's head over.
Welcome in, Doonebug. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being on.
Yeah. Can you give us a little bit of an, for those who don't know you yet, that'd be crazy, but for those who actually don't, can you give yourself an introduction?
Yeah, so I'm Doonebug97. I am currently I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, now living in Dallas, Texas, and I am a two-time regional champion this season in the Play Pokemon circuit. Overall, I have won 3 regional championships in my Play Pokemon career.
Getting right into it. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. Has a threat to be reckoned with. But obviously, everyone who plays PvP is pretty knowing and fearful of your name. But how did you actually get started with PvP back in the day?
So my whole life I've always been a very competitive person, and PvP felt like a great way for me to just get my competitive genes going again. And I've been playing PvP from the start, and it's just been a crazy ride from there.
Did it click to you automatically though, like when you first started playing, or was there like a learning curve where you were like, "Oh, this is actually with counts"? Or I mean, being my first ever Pokemon game, there was a lot of a learning for me. I had to be like writing down, okay, this type is this, and then if there was 2 typings, I was like, oh crap, I have no idea what this means for this Pokemon.
Still doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the first days were definitely a learning curve for sure. Like just learning how the PvP actually works, and like when I was learning PvP, I was definitely watching a lot of the YouTubers that were putting out the content of how the mechanics worked.
So when you talk about like the start, do you mean like at the start of Go Battle League or like before that already?
The Before that, when it was only friendship battles, that's when I started. Like right when the PvP feature was rolled out.
So as someone who's a little bit of a zoomer in PvP, who did you watch back then?
King IV was definitely the big YouTuber I watched, and honestly, it was really King. That he was really the only YouTuber I was watching to get my start in PvP.
I see. And is that how you've become this good, or what was your learning technique basically? Like how have you become the PvPer that you are today?
Yeah, so my learning technique was definitely to soak up as much information as possible, and then just keep practicing until I mastered each technique that I was learning from the videos I was watching.
Interesting. Okay. Could you give like an example? Like, say if someone now is just watching, obviously, like the regionals or something on Twitch, and they're saying, "This seems like a really cool thing, but I'm so far behind the curve." What is like a tip that you would give someone to start out with? Be like, okay, if you're interested in doing PvP, here's a like a kickstart into how to get good.
Yes, I would definitely say the first big thing to learn is type effectiveness, because that's really the foundation of Pokemon. And I feel like learning that is will be a great way to start, and then also how you can learning how you can play the meta correctly. Like what are the best
Hmm.
Pokemon in the meta right
Hmm.
now? I feel like that's another big key part of learning in PvP.
Yeah. The type effectiveness, is that directed at Amanda?
I'm so much better at it now, guys.
Well, it just really depends on what the meta is looking like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and YouTubers to watch, right? Do you know any YouTubers that you would recommend? Inadequates, maybe?
Who?
Who's that? Uh, but I
Uh,
definitely, if you wanna really learn from a lot of Twitch streamers right now, I would definitely tune into It's Axon and Rise to
Hmm.
Occasion, and maybe there's a guy called Doonebug97 that streams
Oh.
sometimes.
Now you were talking about metas, and obviously right now we're doing like the show six pick three, which is you bring six Pokemon to a tournament, you choose three to play in a battle. But this is not your first show six pick three because you also played in Sylph, and I know that Inadequates didn't play as much of this, but you were really like a solo Silpher, and not only that, I have like vivid memories of casting over an event where I feel like you forgot to sign up or you didn't set your alarm in time or something like this, so you were almost late to the tournament, and then you just ended up completely sweeping past that point.
I
Do you
think
remember this at
I
all?
think it was like one of the like Battle Tower or like whatever.
Yeah, it could have been something like that.
Yeah, it was one of those, and I think I ended up like starting like 18-0 overall, and, and then like I didn't lose a game until the final round against Ventusky.
Mhm.
It was really crazy. Yeah, and I think I do remember like I literally showed up like 10 minutes before it started. That's classic Dune fashion.
Maximizing your preparation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, efficiency. Very good. Yeah, yeah. The first silver world champion, huh? That's how did
Yeah,
that
not the
not the
yeah,
first?
not the first.
Oh,
No, that
sorry, no.
was a
Speed
Speedy.
was
speed.
the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah,
Speedy.
yeah.
Yeah, your
Apologies.
fellow
Yeah,
caster.
like I said, Sylph. I've not been super active, but
But I
how'd you
think
get there to silver world champion?
um well, that was during when COVID was happening, so I definitely had a lot of time on my hands. So just kept grinding at every tournament and putting in the work, and I probably put together one of the most dominating seasons ever.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you compete also in like the local live tournaments, or was most of your stuff online only?
Yeah, I definitely competed at a lot of the local tournaments, the local Sylph tournaments. Like those were definitely the best days of Sylph, in my opinion,
Hmm.
because those mega tournaments that we had back in the day, like the Orlando mega tournament, the one in Richmond, Virginia, and then obviously I wasn't able to get to the LA mega. I think it was Rainbow Cup in the Rainbow Cup, and that was in
Hmm.
LA. But those days of Sylph were amazing.
Yeah, there's a nostalgia for me as well with it because it was like something that really brought me into a whole new community of people, and like without I know I don't want to make you try to sound arrogant or not humble, but at what point did you realize that hey, I'm like significantly better at this game than a lot of people are? Like was it pretty early on or was it after a while where you're like, "Oh, not only am I winning at locals, I'm also now winning like these larger online events as well?"
Yeah, I think the first time I really felt that was when Ghost Stadium put together that Battle for the World tournament. It was like that first ever like really big tournament they put together, and I remember I ran through everybody running Shadow Gardevoir.
With charm,
that's
yeah.
that's yes, with charm, of course,
You're
and
just so charming.
exactly. But that's really when I felt like I was at like maybe I'm pretty good at this game.
How many participants did it have?
What I was it like? I think it was might have been 128
All right,
if I
it's pretty
remember.
high.
I'm not entirely sure. At this time. It's so long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, of
yeah.
course. Those mega tournaments, was it like comparable to regionals? Was there also prize
Absolutely.
money?
Um, I don't recall any prize money at any of these mega tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just for Sylph ranking,
Right. All right.
but they were definitely very comparable to what regionals are like right now.
It does boggle my mind how Sylph was like so successful without any sort of monetary gain for anyone. It's just like there's so many tournaments that people are trying to put together where they're like, oh, prize money of this and this, and it's like they never got to that same level of like the Sylph regional qualifications or anything like that,
Yeah,
where it's like the invitationals. Um, And that was for nothing, just a badge, basically, or it's just the right to say, yeah, I made it to the highest tier.
Essentially, that's really what Sylph was all about. Just it was mainly just for fun. But now that we have play Pokemon regionals and that there's real good
It's no
money
longer for fun.
involved. Yeah, it's sometimes I don't think it's really fun winning 14 games in a row.
The, does the prize money like encourage you to perform better in these regional championships? I believe. Which one's your first win? Arlington.
Arlington 2023.
Yeah, yeah. Can you talk about that, Arlington?
Yeah, so that really felt my coming out party in the play Pokemon circuit for sure. First ever regional win, coming back from an 0-2 deficit against Rise to Occasion, my biggest rival. Who, fun fact, we played the most out of anyone who's met at Play Pokemon tournament. But yeah, that definitely the prize money is a very good incentive to perform well at these regionals.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you win enough to, fund more more trips to these tournaments?
I feel like I am now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why I'm gonna try win EUIC. I'm gonna steal it from y'all.
Yeah, go
Ooh,
for it.
boy,
I don't
yeah.
mind. Yeah, get the championship
Yeah.
points to NA. I don't care.
Yeah, you're opening up a big can of worms here,
Oh
dude. But
yeah.
because also for those who maybe don't also understand, there's a leaderboards in Play Pokemon, and the top 8 players in each region get kind of like a little bit of money to help them for their worlds. And you are at the top of the global leaderboard, I believe, right? So you have the most points out of anyone. You're one of 2 people who have been a 2-time regional champion in one season, and now you're trying to threaten to take on another region at our local IC. So yeah, I feel like there's a gauntlet that's going to be thrown down here, and most Europeans are thinking that they want anyone but the Americans. But Inadequence, of course, who is going for the leaderboard push in Europe, says, yes, please, I hope the Americans win.
Exactly. I already know I'm going to have a big target on my back
Mm-hmm.
when I arrive there. People are definitely gonna try to eliminate me early on.
I think that was the same thing I had when I went to Toronto, right? I also said beforehand, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one guy I don't want to play. That's why I let myself get knocked out before I got to play you.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Europeans don't really have that great of a track record coming to NA and trying to steal tournaments from us.
No, not yet, not yet.
Yeah.
Bibelicious got to second place. I got to.
Yeah, and that
He
was
did.
against you.
Yep,
Yeah.
against me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that wasn't Arlington indeed. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did manage to steal a qualification spot from you
He
guys, right?
did. Yeah, he
So
did.
he didn't go home empty-handed. I took away a medal, so I had that going for me,
Ooh,
which
yeah.
was cool. Yeah, but no one from Europe has won a American tournament yet.
Yet, yeah. But we still have a couple more coming up as well. There's still
Definitely.
Vancouver, right? And there's
Vancouver is
still.
coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm flying out in like a few
Ooh,
hours, honestly. Yeah, like less than 24 hours from now, I'm flying to Vancouver,
how
Oh,
long?
wow. Okay.
How long is
and
that of a flight?
I'll actually be on the staff team this weekend in
Oh,
Vancouver.
Ah, okay.
oh,
Okay.
to give everyone else a chance.
Yeah, other people need to win for once.
Mm. So if you were playing, I guess, because there hasn't really been many in the new World of Wonders meta,
Yeah,
what would you suggest, or what would you be playing, or do you not want to say because this is the team that you will be running at
I
EUIC?
I don't think I can disclose what I'm planning on playing right now because
I'll tell you
it
what.
may or may not be.
After we're done recording, I'm going to ask you.
Yes, that's a good idea.
What are your predictions though for Vancouver? I believe there's about 60 participants signed up
Yeah, right
right
now
now.
there's 60 right
Oh
now,
wow,
so we're they're getting close to getting over the 64 threshold for to make it 4 pods.
Hmm.
that's good. I hope that they make that. I know that before it was a little bit lower, and so I was kind of
Yeah,
hoping the
definitely.
numbers would rise up.
But yeah, I have quite a few predictions on what Vancouver may look like. I feel like there's going to be a lot of shadow for alligator because I feel like the North American players really enjoy testing out the new stuff. I feel like
Mm.
Shadow for Alligator is going to be really common. I feel like
Hmm.
it is really good. I got to play in one of my factions matches this past weekend, and I really got to see the power of it it puts in a ton of work in the meta. There are matchups it wins that I feel like you shouldn't be winning with Shadow for Alligator.
Yeah, yeah. I experienced the same when how Stark used it against me in the scrims, and I
Yeah,
told
and
him, What the heck is going on here? This is like I'm Pablo Dinos today, and you are."
exactly.
I
Just
felt
getting
I
out-predicted.
felt
Yeah.
so helpless.
Yeah,
So I guess I can ask you, Martine, because you're not. I mean, you're casting, so you're not going to be playing at EUIC, and you're not going to be playing in
Oh, you don't
Vancouver.
know
What
that.
would you be running in this meta? Are you going to try to steer people astray?
Oh man, it's so difficult right now. I feel like people are still shifting a lot with what they use. I think one thing that's for sure, two things that I would say, four things that are
Oh,
for sure. Okay,
whoa,
okay, here we
my
go.
goodness. Okay,
He-
so many things.
Here are the Pokemon I 100% predict to be like top 7, top 8. Gligar, Wishcash. People dropped it for a second. I think everyone's like, okay, well, that was for nothing. It's still as good as ever, especially when people use more Lantern.
oh yeah, definitely.
Skarmory, I think Skarmory is still very good, especially with the rise of Gligar. People bring more Skarmory. And the
Mhm.
fourth, I forgot. I think it was Cresselia. I think Cresselia is very good. But the thing that I can't figure out, which fighter do you use? It shifted to Vigoroth for a little bit, and now people are like, okay, this is going to be Vigoroth. I'm going to use Annihilate again. It's
Yeah.
I
And
don't.
now Poliwrath is making a little bit of a
Yeah,
climb up there because it's a better Skarmory answer.
correct. Yeah, better Skarmory, better Gligar, and Wishcash. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say it's a
definitely
Gligar answer,
Whiscash.
but it has a better matchup against those. Plus, like Shadow Polyrad,
For
not the
Alligator.
worst against for Alligator. Yep, good point. This is why you are quite a good player. Um, right, and not even that bad of a matchup against Annihilate if you have energy somewhere, right? So, yeah, I think all three fighters are very comfortable to use right now. I do think Poliwrath's maybe a little bit more difficult to fit onto a team, but yeah, I think that's kind of what I would expect. I don't expect fire types to come
Yeah,
back
that's
as
that's
easily.
definitely something to watch. Is which fighter is going to be the best?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
I'm a little biased.
Yeah, let's talk about that too, because so you use Annihilate, and for I mean, there weren't that many tournaments before that, but Annihilate was more commonly used at that point with Ice Punch because it was able to, fight back a little bit harder
Yes.
against the Glygars. But you use Night Slash, and in the tournament, you had was it two times you had a double Night Slash boost, and
Yeah,
your
twice.
opponents were just helpless to do anything against that team.
And I was absolutely losing it on stage, especially the first time I got the double Night Slash boost. That was amazing. And I honestly can't take credit for being the first person to actually run Night Slash Annihilate. I have to kind of give a little bit of credit to Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
he beat me with Night Slash Annihilate in the Cup at Charlotte, and that kind of inspired me to run it actually. So I will give Arrow a little bit of a shout out there.
Everyone called him crazy at
Interesting.
first,
I
and
know,
now
even I
look at where
did
we are
too.
now.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I think your run flipped the meta on its head for that for Annihilate, and then after that, if you were running Ice Punch, you were just kind of behind the times, or it didn't really work out so
Yeah,
well in the mirror. I mean, I believe like probably 8 out of 10 Annihilates in the next tournament that we casted over. Martin and I had Night Slash on it.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Colin with the double night slash boost in the mirror.
Mm,
And then there was
with,
like Leaky Tongue
with the
Dugong in the
whole
back.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, that was
I was going nuts when I was watching that.
Poor Cashton.
Yep.
yeah. I've also been quite lucky with the boost past weekend. I played in a local cup with a sunny cast form, but I also had an Annihilate on my team. And in the grand finals, it came through. I boosted twice against Toe Tactical.
Yeah, that's definitely a good battler to boost twice against.
Yeah, did you see the title of his video of that cup?
I did not.
He
No, I didn't either. What did he
So
say?
first it was something like competing against the best battlers in Europe, and then he changed it to "Is this the new Great League meta?" And he put like an Annihilate with what's called dices with it,
Mm.
right? What is your opinion on the RNG that we have in the game with Night Slash and Scald right now?
Um, I personally believe, even though I am such a Wizcash fan, I personally believe they should have nerfed Scald, made it a 30% chance.
Hmm.
My opinion on chances for like debuffs and buffs, there should be 3 levels of RNG for it. Should be a 10%, 12.5%, 30%. Actually, it's 4 levels, and 100%. They should make Zapcan 100% again.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
think that's a controversial
That's
take.
a hot take. We didn't even have to ask a controversial question yet.
Yeah. You're like that
Yeah.
meme with all the swords pointed at you, and you're just
Yeah. Yeah. Registeel needs to be
yeah,
good again.
yeah. But okay, but walk us through that. So you really do, if you could make the choice, you would like Zap Cannon to be 100% debuff. Walk us through why.
I feel like 67%. It just feels so awkward as a chance because like it's like Scald. It's essentially a coin flip most of the time. It feels like when it comes to Zap Cannon, and I know a lot of people are very frustrated when it comes to those coin flip chances
Hmm.
because like when it happens 5 times in a row, you get a debuff, or 4 times in a row, you don't get a debuff. I
Hmm.
know it can be very frustrating for a lot of people. That's why I feel like 30% would be a lot fairer because now you can go into a game not expecting to get a debuff, and when you get one, it's nice.
Sure.
I like that. I like that train of thoughts because that's the same way I feel about it as well. Right? It should not be something you need to be relying on because it just induces frustration on either side when it happens or not, right? And like if you're not counting on it, if you can have your strategy that you're like, well, I get a skull debuff, nice, but if I don't get it, well, the game is still the way I wanted it to be, right? I
Hmm.
think that
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is
Because like a lot of people today, like with Wizcash, they go into these matchups saying, "Okay, if I get a Scald debuff, maybe I can flip this." Because people like the chances of getting a Scald debuff are it's 50-50. So
Hmm.
if you get one, the odds of flipping a matchup are really good.
yeah.
But I would also argue that that's sort of playing to different win conditions as well, right? So if you
Yeah.
recognize, okay, this is potentially my only way to win this, I gotta go for it. Yeah, or it's like a timeout strategy or something where
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, I don't want to win this way, but if it's the only way that I'm gonna win, then I'm sure as heck gonna do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, you talked earlier about Rise to Occasion being your rival. Have you? Do you happen to have kept track of how many times you guys played?
It is right now. It still stands at 7 times in regionals.
Ooh, an
We've
uneven
obviously
amount.
added quite a few more at locals, but
Hmm.
I feel like we those don't really count as much. And to be fair, I have had his number at locals too, so just not to brag, but sorry, Rise.
I count those personally very much against like that's cool.
Fair
But that
enough.
sounds like you beat him more at the regionals than he beats you.
Yeah, it is currently 4-3 in favor of me.
Close,
Okay,
And
close.
he
and they
actually
have been
he
intense
yeah,
battles
he actually started 3-1 against me, and I have won 3 in a row at regionals.
because I remember it was the this regional that he won where he was coming up from the loser side of the
No,
bracket, so he
I came up
oh, you can,
losers.
okay,
I reset the bracket, but then he was able
yes,
to end up on
maintain,
top after a
yeah.
tie in game 5.
Yes, that was. It's
That
like it
was
could literally
one of
not
the
get
most
any
incredible
closer
series.
than it did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you say that? I mean, obviously you do have him by one, but on any given day, do you feel like yeah I have his number, or is it more like every time you see that you're faced up against him again, you're like, oh no, like here we go again.
yeah, I definitely would say it's the latter because like Rise is an exceptional battler. I consider him one of the top 5 battlers in the world. He is
Mhm.
so good, and every time I see his name and a potential matchup looming, I get a little nervous because I know he is easily a battler who can take me down.
Mhm. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So if he is in your top five and you beat him over and over, are you also in your own top five?
Maybe. Yes, I am. I would put myself in top 5 in the world. And I do feel like a lot of people would do the same because given my very recent track record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Who's better, you or Axon?
Ooh, well, Axon did beat me in that World Championship brawl this past weekend, so I gotta give the head up to Axon right now.
All right, all
And
right.
I haven't won a
Yeah,
World Championship and play Pokemon, so
Yet.
he
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
has that. So Axon is probably the top battler in the world right now.
Okay, so we have three of the top five in NA. I don't want to spark another debate, and you
Oh, I
don't have to
do.
give the
I
full
do.
list if you want to, Dune. But are there any non-NA battlers in your top five?
Yakovovich is definitely one of those that
Hmm.
I would put in
Mm-hmm.
the top five, and I would put Zizwilis up there.
Who?
He is he is easily the most consistent European battler I have seen.
Hmm.
I think that's fun. I mean, obviously, Zweilous is very, very good. I think that he doesn't sometimes get the credit that he deserves in that. I see Martine stewing just a little bit
I know a
over
lot
there.
of Europeans feel like they don't get the credit they deserve, but I am so excited for EUIC to see how us North Americans fare against the Europeans.
I mean, there's some big old names coming over. That's for sure. There's you. It's Axon, like you said, the world champion, and we have I think Rise. You were talking
Rise,
Rise,
about him. I
Arrow.
believe
Arrow,
he's coming
and
as well.
Bopper.
Arrow.
We have
Yep.
four of our Texan battler, actually, Nighttime Clasher as well.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Oh
No,
he's
we're
European now. He's
yeah, we're
European.
claiming him. He's ours
no,
now.
nope, he is a Texan. Sorry. And at one point, we had all the top four from Texas on the Play Pokemon leaderboards.
That is crazy. Everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Exactly.
Gonna have to expand that leaderboard out. But yeah, I guess are there any? Are you welcoming all the battles from the Europeans? Are you looking forward to crushing them, or is it like? Are there any names over there that you're like, ooh, I actually hope I don't face off against one of these in the earlier rounds
Ooh,
because it could upset my run.
yeah. I'd be very nervous to play against So Tactical in round one. Well, I don't think that's likely to happen because potential seeding, but
Hmm.
Seating, I think so too. Yeah.
I though Tactical would definitely be someone I would fear to play in that tournament.
Really? I never fear
Yeah.
him actually, but
But yeah, he's always been very consistent and
hmm
definitely one of the best battlers I've ever seen.
Mm,
yeah, it's definitely there. I think there's a lot of good battlers in EU, right? I
There
think for NA it's mostly
definitely.
like, with all the respect, but it's like I feel like there's a big skill gap between like the top of NA and like I'm not saying that the lower half cannot
Yeah,
win or anything,
I
but
can
it's
kind of agree with that.
noticeable often, right?
Yeah, the NA does feel like it is very top heavy.
Hmm.
And then like after like the very top of the echelon, there's a significant drop
Hmm.
in where you get to the next tier.
Right.
But definitely in
yeah.
Europe, I feel like they're not as top heavy, but they have a great. There's like a huge pool in like the A tier, I
Yeah.
would say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong. I don't think that like the what we call a little bit lower levels that they cannot defeat someone on a higher tier. I think on a good day they can also beat anyone, right? So
Absolutely,
still
absolutely. They
very
definitely have
yeah.
the skill to beat one of the S tier players. So like, if I had to make tiers, yeah, Dune's tiers now coming up.
Oh yes, the most controversial
Yeah,
one, please.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sarah, yeah.
So like, if I had to like rate the tiers, I would say S tier would probably be. These are people who are like would be favored to win the world championships in Honolulu this year. A
Mhm.
tier would be people who definitely could make that run. And then then there would be like a B tier who would be like, these are people who could make a run to like day 2 at Worlds, but don't wouldn't feel like really has a great chance of winning. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna name
Mm,
names in these tiers, but that's like how I would make these tiers.
yeah.
Where would you rate Amanda?
Well, I'm not even qualified. So
No.
in the C unqualified tier,
Yes, exactly. There we go.
I will say, like, when I first started playing, I was very competitive about it because I really got addicted to playing it, and I was like really loving like Sylph, and I mean I was pretty good for never playing a game like that before. My competitive nature has kind of been curbed a little bit in that sense, and with that, my skill level has not improved in the same way that I think that if I really kept at it.
Hmm.
But then I see like newer players like Leo or like a Nighttime Clasher, and I think, dang, like, oh, if you just really apply yourself or keep trying, like I could probably get decent again. But
Yeah, definitely.
but
Like,
I
yeah,
don't think I would
if
ever
you put
get
your
to. I
mind to
never
it.
was at the Doonebug level, so I don't think I would ever get to that. If I ever qualified for Worlds, I would already put myself in the Doonebug B tier of like maybe she could make day two, but she's not going to win Worlds.
Yeah, if you really put your mind to it, you can definitely get that skill level you need to make a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's a cool thing about the game as well. It's like there is a big learning curve, but I think once you've hit a certain point, some of the stuff is easier to pick up with a little bit of practice and dedication.
Hmm.
I want
Yeah,
to ask your thoughts about the new addition this year of the leaderboard points and like the CP, because we've talked about how you are on top of this, but you were qualified for Worlds before this was even really a thing. Do you like this new addition? Do you like more people being added to this and subsequently making more tiers of skilled players?
yeah, I definitely feel like the points do make the accessibility a little bit better, but I can also see why some people don't like the point system because it really incentivizes like needing to travel to so many regionals, maybe
Sure.
more than you have to in previous times. But I do feel like, especially with locals now starting in all regions, the point system does allow for more accessibility to qualify for worlds.
Hmm. Do you think that 500 is not enough for NA?
I feel like 500 might be a little too much for NA.
Okay.
I feel like if they maybe dropped it down to 450, I feel like that would be a good middle ground because there are, right now I believe based on the leaderboards in NA only like 12 people right now would qualify based off of points.
Really? Hmm.
It's not a lot. It's surprisingly a lot smaller than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Europeans are just like farming locals left and
Yeah,
right, getting
definitely.
Especially Italians. Only 4 people show up. You get points. Easy defeat. It's crazy.
Yeah, they can collude and throw the throw the games.
But I know that's true in some of the areas
Yeah.
in the U.S. too. I've seen like some people that they can easily get their 15 points for challenges because only even like two people show up and they have to convince like some card game players or something to
Yeah,
come over
exactly.
and
Like there are definitely some regions within North America that have that luxury of not having to deal with the best players every day, like I have to
yeah,
do
yeah.
every time.
Yeah, Texas seems like it's a very stacked local tournament. It's almost like the Belgium Netherlands tournaments from the
Huh?
looks
Yeah,
of it. When I see all the
Really?
people there, and yeah, because you got Rise and Dune and
and
Nighttime,
Arrow
who's
and
doing
Bopper,
horrible, and Arrow and Bopper. Yeah, exactly.
Rookie names.
Pokemango, who gave me
Oh
my
man.
only loss in San Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah. Texas does look very stacked often.
Texas is probably the most stacked region in the U.S.
I think it's kind of tough to balance out
Mhm.
the championship point requirements because there's also like a lot of regions that don't have the championship points that they can get in nearby stores, right? If stores are not hosting or they just don't
Yeah,
have them.
definitely.
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
that's like I don't know. It's a tough topic. I think right. For
Yeah.
some, it's too much. Honestly, like if I look at Europe, you technically can get 390 points just through locals. That's 10 points off qualifying.
Yeah.
In Latam and
But
Oceania, you would qualify with that. But if you don't have them nearby and you have
yeah.
Yes.
so little regionals, right? That's just make it so
Yeah.
difficult.
And Oceania didn't get access to locals
Yeah,
until like maybe a
until
month ago,
March, yeah,
right?
until start of March, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are also taking this from the perspective though of some of the best battlers in the world. So yes, if you are competing in this many cups and challenges, most likely you could do enough where you would get the 390 points. But for an average PvP player, I don't think that that is true unless they go and really farm like locals across like a bunch of different regions. But I know some people who are relatively decent.
Hmm.
Um, but they definitely will not be able to probably qualify for worlds even, and it's not because they're not good, but just there's not enough locals that they're
Yeah,
hitting
Yeah.
that at, and then they're not doing as well in the regional as maybe that they would hope and stuff.
yeah. I guess
Yeah, definitely.
you kind of have to avoid like Texas and Netherlands to get
Yeah,
Yeah,
through.
you gotta
yeah.
avoid all the big cities in North America.
It's the advice.
It was pretty funny that the one local that I didn't go to, Stan finally managed to sweep it. I was like, man, I was
That's
trying
too
so
funny.
hard.
Yeah, you had one job.
Yeah.
I have another question for both. Again, being such good battlers and just finding different ways of maybe getting points if there was the threshold was to go up or even just stay the same but another way. What are you guys' thoughts of like if they somehow included online tournaments to be eligible? So it's like there wouldn't actually be a location cap or an actual regional cap, but there was a way to get CP points through competing in like it would have been like a silk tournament, but this way
It's
you get
That's kind
points.
of what they do in some of the Asian countries. Like I think
Hmm.
Japan has their own qualifying where
Japan is in
they,
person, but like APEC and India is indeed online. Yeah.
yeah, Korea, I
Mm-hmm.
think, like
Hmm.
APAC, like the Asia Pacific. There's like a mix of like some of these online tournaments where like I think top 8 from these tournaments or something like that qualify. I feel like that would be a cool concept to do in all the other regions. I feel like that would, like maybe have a tournament where top 4 qualify, top 4 from the tournament
Mm,
automatically qualify for worlds, but there's no prizing involved because they would be online.
yeah, yeah. How would you like? I mean, I guess would people like just have to RSVP and it's like the first come first serve RSVP, or would there have to be some sort of threshold already? Like, yeah, you have to have hit legend X amount of times, or you have to have. I mean, I guess that doesn't really
Maybe
help
make
for new
it so
players or
there's a
something.
minimum CP requirement. So maybe put it at like 150 championship points. So
Mm,
if you're
hmm.
in any region, that's not enough to qualify, but if you win one of these, you get an automatic qualification spot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a minimum CP requirement would be a fair barrier of entry,
Something
but
like that.
it would
Yeah.
be a manageable one. And I feel like it would be a great time to hold it would be like a weekend where like later on the season where on a weekend where there's no regional happening.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least some sort of qualification process, in my opinion. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I could just let Doonebug play on my account, and
Yeah.
he just gets
Oh
the
yeah,
points on,
good point.
that like I
Yeah,
would say that's something
Yeah,
that could be done, right? Because there's no monitoring, and I think that's one of
exactly.
the aspects that
sure. Yeah.
in person have. There is that monitoring that you do it
And
fair, right?
if you already have your qualification secured, you can't play in these tournaments.
Mm,
Hmm. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I like the. I'm just like I'm trying to think of ways that
Yeah, fun in
like
different ways.
exactly that brings more people into the games because I know especially in the US as well because the regionals are spread out and it costs an arm and a leg pretty much to
Yes.
fly anywhere in the US. Like what would bring in like not even a casual player but someone who is like okay, I want to try this but I'm not traveling all this way. I'm not paying all this money for a ticket and entry fee just to be knocked out because I've never really played in this type of tournament before. This gives like a little more level playing field for people to compete.
Yeah,
So I think I
yeah,
hope they do something
definitely.
like
Yeah,
that.
because well, I know Inadequance has a great tool. He hosts plenty of practice tournaments where
Hmm.
you can get a plenty of experience in show 6 pick 3.
Yeah,
There,
that's true.
there
Yeah.
are
I'm
plenty there are plenty of
Yeah,
options if you want to
I'm
do
glad he
practice
does something
tournaments.
for the community.
This, oh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't ever see Amanda participating in there though.
I
I guess
know,
she
I
knows she's
know, I
washed.
know. Yeah, yeah. I am
That's
pretty.
what comes when you cast, right? You become washed.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this season is the season of the casters. My goodness, is like the
I
first
know.
time that two casters have won a regional event. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, first it was Europe. Sorry, first was America coming for Europe. Now it's the casters coming for Europe.
Yeah,
yeah,
Maybe,
definitely.
maybe Caleb wins UIC.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's gonna use Bastiodon to win
Oh,
UIC.
we would never hear the end of that.
That would
I
be
did make a
amazing.
joke about this because I was writing an article for Pokemon.com for EUIC, and so I was naming some players to watch, and so it was like a kind of a joke about the North American people coming over. So maybe stay tuned for when that comes out. You might
Ooh.
see your name, but also that yeah, there's a lot of casters who are also
Yeah,
participating and looking to maybe be the third person to take home this title in one season.
yeah. Who can be the second North American to win in Europe?
I'm
Oh,
unbiased. I'm unbiased.
Yeah,
Like literally, like it would be great
you're
if a
casting,
European
so
wins it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if an American wins, they eliminate my competition. So
My dream grand finals would be me versus Axon in the EUIC grand finals.
oh, what a slap in the face for
oh
Europe
my
that would be.
goodness. Oh, that's pretty funny.
Oh man, yeah.
So, but while we're on that subject too, are you competing at NAIC? Do you know
Yes,
already, or
Oh,
okay,
I am
dang.
highly likely competing at
okay,
NAIC as well. I gotta keep the Europeans out of here too, so
yeah, yeah, because
I
I
gotta,
had
I gotta
heard that there's
defend my
quite a few
region.
coming.
We'll
Yeah.
see about that, punk.
Yeah. But yeah, I heard there are quite a few Europeans going as well, so we'll see how that goes.
So far,
I know that, yeah.
I think
You've been to London, but have you ever been to New Orleans before?
I have not. I'm really
Oh,
excited to explore New Orleans.
yeah,
as am
same,
I.
same.
Yeah, yeah. So we have. Let me think. Myself, Tiptando, Zweilaus. Do we count you as a European? No, you're American. Um, do we know more of Europeans that are going
Is
as of now?
Bibalicious going?
No, I don't think Biblis is
No, I don't
playing
think so.
at all right now. I don't. Maybe it will be at Stockholm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the Cheji Comics was thinking of coming, but I
Mhm.
don't know if he still is, but that would be
It
cool
will be
as well.
the last resort for everyone at their
Yeah.
hands on not
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
think a
qualification, but also
little.
travel
I
awards.
think a little birdie told me Valiant Fish is making the trip.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
did hear that from a source.
you know more than me. Not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
lie, but
Doonebug's spilling all the secrets over here.
I
Yeah.
would love it.
We, we need you
That
on
would
more
be really
often.
cool to try to see an Australian come try to conquer a North American tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, also, if we want to talk about skill gap, I mean, the Australians, they don't have so many people showing up for their stuff, but
There's
they're
quite
really,
a
really
few
good.
good Australian battlers in
Yeah.
there for sure. They like I in Worlds in London in the first ever World Championships in London. I lost to Valiant Fish to get knocked down to losers bracket, and then my next opponent was Rise to Occasion. So
Again.
yeah,
Let's I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but since you're already qualified again and you're having such a stellar season, walk us through your other worlds runs so far, and maybe how are you preparing to have a better run for this 2024 season?
yeah.
Unfortunately.
So unfortunately, like my other two Worlds appearances haven't been as good as I wanted to, and this year I've just been preparing so hard to really make a good run this year. This is the year I really want to win. I feel like I definitely am going to be favored, so that will put a lot of pressure on me to begin. And if I can just win my first game at Worlds, I feel like it'll be cake from there. I feel like it'll
Mhm.
be pretty. I feel like I'll have a good momentum to make a run at Worlds this year.
Yeah. What are you doing to prepare? Like you said that you're preparing a lot. Is it like scrimming against teammates and friends, or is
Local
it?
tournaments are a great way as
Okay.
well. Have
Yeah.
been really great for me to prepare.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe in the months June, July, and August, I believe the locals are going to be a little cup format, no? I think I read that somewhere. I'm for
What?
real. I'm for real.
Little cup?
Yeah, for
No,
fun, not
that's a
for
joke.
championship points.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I think I saw the last quarter for locals. It's only going to be counted from April and May for points.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so June, July, and August.
So maybe June will just be a fun month then. Maybe
Yeah.
June, and then July and August will start counting for next season.
Little Cup show 6. Is that an indication for next season?
No, no, please don't.
What are your thoughts of like if it was more like Sylph and there was like defined metas for show six pick three, or do you like that it's so open that you can kind of choose exactly what you want to,
I
or
feel
what do you
like
think it's
I d-
different?
yeah, I do feel like at some point they should try to maybe fit in like some custom metas, like a Great League remix, something like
Hmm.
that. I feel like that would be a really fun twist they could do for a quarter. I think per quarter they could do some fun metas for locals,
Hmm.
Yeah,
test out metas at locals, and then see how that goes, and then maybe even bring it to the big stage at regionals.
yeah. I think like with VGC, TCG, they're also changing like every now and then, right?
Yeah.
the mask.
Yeah.
TCG is changing in the middle of EUIC. Apparently, like their newest thing is coming out, so it's like, okay, I get that we also have it kind of bad with Utrecht with
Hmm.
some
Oh
things
no,
not
not
being
for me.
allowed,
No,
but
that was fine.
imagine like day one something's allowed and day two it's like nope.
I know that would, I do like how they did do it this time around, where like new like if Pokemon already had a move and it got buffed, they could still use it, but like
Mhm,
new moves couldn't be used at a regional like Utrecht.
mhm. Yeah, I think that they handled it the best way that they could
Yeah,
for that, for
definitely,
sure.
and
I know
that
that
sets
everyone was like up waiting to see like what the water pulse buff was going to be on the Mantine and
and
stuff, and then
that's
despite it, people not running it.
yeah, absolutely, and that sets a good precedent for the regional that's in Italy. I think that in June, right? Like literally the day of the move update.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be in Bologna. I believe on Saturday night we get the moveset update.
I
Yeah,
believe so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be
That could
interesting.
be a mess. That could be messy.
No, 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 no. It will be creative. Creative. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like if day
Hmm.
one there's a there's one meta, and day two there's another one. I wonder if Play Pokemon will like try to force Niantic's hand to not update the moves until after the regional.
I don't know. I mean, you have like it's if you look at the whole of PvP, there's already a small portion of players, Pokemon Go players, actually playing
Yeah,
PvP, but only
obviously.
a even smaller portion are at a tournament like that. So I don't know if maybe I would hope so, like especially for the players traveling there.
Yeah.
But if it's like 100 participants or something, yeah, I don't know if they want to hold it back for that. I don't know. I have no insight in that, and it's not my involvement there.
Yeah. I mean, and I say it like basically every episode, but I am very positive about it. The fact that we're still in like the baby stages of Pokemon Go, play Pokemon. So I do think that we have a lot of like things like this that maybe they didn't even consider. And then they're like, now that this has
Yeah.
happened, they're like, oh crap, we can't have that happen next season. And so maybe there'll be some more talk between Niantic and Pokemon, and
Yeah,
maybe they'll
hopefully.
have things a little bit more fleshed out. I mean, it was the same for the Twitch stream. Originally, I think that they were looking on having a European specific Twitch stream just in case there was an NA one going on at the same time. But then they're like, oh, wait, let's just schedule them so they're not the same weekends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that as we get problems, hopefully we'll solve them pretty quickly. And then the next season, we won't have that
And
problem and we'll have something in the rule book.
I do hope at some point like Latin America and APAC are able to get their own Twitch streams on the main channel. They
Same,
deserve the
same.
publicity that the other regions do for sure.
Right? And we want to see some Wilmer action because no one in Europe or in North America is playing any Wilmer. Like, where's the fun, right?
Well, they are, but they're just getting knocked
Yeah,
out early.
exactly.
Tomahawk.
And I do feel really bad for Australia losing OCIC this
Hmm.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
next year I would love to see a Worlds there.
Oh yeah,
That
sure.
could be interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we do know it rotates every year, right?
It does.
So
I would love
maybe we'll
a
eye
cool
that region.
location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great region to show some love with.
Hmm. So you've been to London a couple times. We did say this. Is there anything that you specifically are like, okay, when I'm going back there, I have to do this because now it's a staple for me?
Well, actually, the first time I was in London, I really didn't get to see much of the city. So this time around, I'm actually arriving a little bit early so I can tour a little bit on, I believe it's that Wednesday before the weekend starts. So I'm going to get to explore the city a little bit. It's going to be,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
excited for that.
This podcast is not sponsored by it, and I get that as an American, you will not be that excited. But there's Chipotle there, and
Oh, gosh.
there is not Chipotle in Belgium or many places in
Oh,
Europe.
my
So
goodness.
whenever I go to the UK, I like stuff myself on a
Is
burrito bowl.
there one like right in the XL Center as well?
There's one right by it. Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
Europeans go to
I
Chipotle.
I try not to. I'm trying to stay away from the fast food lately.
Mhm. But arguably healthiest fast food because you
Yeah,
can
you
just
can
get like the
definitely. There
rice
are
and the
definitely some healthier
veggies.
options you can get there.
Martine, I'm really pushing for this sponsorship. Can't you tell?
Yeah, sponsored by Chipotle.
Sponsored by Chipotle.
Yeah, I have the same with Nando's. It's nowhere here,
Ah, yeah.
so
Yeah, it's true. It's a UK specific.
yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, I think it's time for our final question, Amanda. Don't you think?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so as well. We kind of already discussed it with these tiers a little bit,
Mhm.
but I'm interested if he has to pick one. Do you want to lead us in, Martin?
Let's do it. Yeah. I'll do
All
it.
right.
Doonebug, we have our staple question here for you.
Okay.
If you were to pick a crap roller, which is someone who is not very well known currently, but is really able or has the skill to make a name for themselves, who would that be? And also, who would be your match champion? Someone who's already well known and can potentially win worlds or, do other fantastic stuff.
And
Oh
you
my.
can't say yourself.
You can't say me.
I would definitely shouting out one of my fellow Texans, Bopper. I feel like he's someone who really flies under the radar. He puts in so much work before each tournament he goes to, and I feel like he just hasn't had his breaking through moment. Can I name someone else too?
Well, just because it's you.
Okay, Jengles is another really good battler
Oh, he's pretty
who
good. Yeah, I know him. I
he
know him.
is really
Yeah.
good. I feel like he just hasn't broken through
Hmm.
yet, and I feel like it's just a matter of time before one of those two break through and have a really exceptional tournament run.
I like that. Yeah.
All right.
And how about for your champion? Who's someone who you think is going to take home worlds? If it's not you, it's going to be X.
Ooh, if it's not me, oh my goodness, I think it's gonna be Rise to Occasion.
All right.
Yeah,
Really? Your rival? Wow.
yeah, like I feel like
This is the
yeah,
Yeah,
friendliest
those are a
rivalry I've
friendly
ever.
rival.
yeah, very friendly. Yeah, yeah, we're too nice here in Texas. But yeah, he like I said before, he is one of the most exceptional battlers I've ever seen, and I think he is someone who could go on a huge run.
All
Yeah,
right.
I
I'm excited.
absolutely agree.
Would you think he can win worlds?
Definitely, I think
Would he
he's a big threat to win worlds this year.
even to you?
Yeah, even to
Even
me
to
for
you.
sure.
All right. All right.
Well, Dune, but I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see how you perform at EUIC as well.
I
Good
can't
luck,
wait
but
either.
not too good of luck,
Good
obviously.
luck, my
But
friend. Good luck.
Yes, we'll
and
see
thank
how
you
many times
for
I
coming
boost.
on. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Nihilate.
Oh boy.
Where can people find you? You kind of briefly hinted at it before, but if people are interested in getting to know a little bit more about you or want to check out your streams, where can they go find you?
Yeah, if everyone wants to watch me, you can find me at twitch.tv/Doonebug97. And you can also find me on Twitter, where I post plenty of updates about when I go live. You'll always get the notification on Twitter.
Perfect.
Good idea.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we will, see how you do in these upcoming tournaments.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you and good luck, my friend.
Bye.